Hey guys, what's up? My name is Chloe and I'm a private pilot. And this is my little co-pilot, Poppy Chulo. And today we want to talk about the most important things that you need to study for your private pilot check ride. Now, this is not going to be a comprehensive overview of absolutely every single thing, but I'm going to tell you probably the most important things and also give you some pointers as to what not to do, things I wish I had known. So first of all, I want to start with this book because this is a very appealing book, The Private Pilot Oral Exam Guide. It's written in question answer format like a conversation with a DPE, and it's very appealing because it seems to be, and in some ways it is, a compendium of all the information you should know for the oral part of the check ride. But it's not, and it's also not the Bible. This right here, the Farame, is the Bible. This can only point to where in the Bible or advisory circulars or FAA handbook or other places the information can be found. However, if you were, let's say, on your check ride to bring this book, to quote from this book, your DPE is going to explode because this is published by, I don't know, ASA or whatever, and your DPE will go, you mean to tell me that when I am asking about describing flight information service broadcasts, which comes from AIM 7111, that your understanding and your answer to my question on that comes from page 3-13 of this book? How come it's not coming from AIM 7111? DPEs are like, you feel like you're on the witness stand and you are being cross-examined by like the scariest attorney you've ever seen in your entire life. That is what a DPE is like. So, this is only a guide. Do not quote it on the check ride. I wouldn't even bring this to the check ride. I would leave this in your car. I wanted to get that out of the way because this book is really popular and it's good, but you guys need to know the limits of its usefulness for your purposes. Okay, your checklist, the emergency side of the checklist. Memorize the emergency side of a checklist. Know why you're doing everything you're doing on the checklist. So go beyond memorizing it. Know why when you lose power in flight, you need to pitch for best glide. Why you need to turn the fuel selector off. Know why if you have an electrical fire in flight, you need to turn all electrical devices off, turn the master off. Know why every item needs to be done. Because, first of all, if you were in any of these situations, you would need to use your reasoning skills to get out of them. It's not enough to have these things memorized. Having it memorized is kind of like with this. You have a skeletal understanding of things, but you need to fill it in with a deeper, more well-rounded knowledge of what it all means. So have these things memorized and know why. If you can't answer to your own self why you would land faster in icing, flaps not recommended for if you have icing and you're landing in icing. If you can't honestly answer to yourself why that is the case, then you need to read it, look it up, study that. Because let me tell you, the DPE they find the holes in your knowledge. They don't care about what you know. They want to know what you don't know. All right. Your POH. I was about to hold this up, but I'm hesitating for a good reason. You need to know the POH. This is not the POH. This information manual is not the POH. The POH in the plane. Get your hands on it. If you're going to a flight school, find a time when nobody's using the plane. Get your hands on the POH. Take pictures so you could study the information on your own time later and study that thing to death. If you cannot have it for too long, you can augment with these information manuals. These are really, really important. Mine is, there's notes all over it, because this is where all the performance data is for the aircraft. When you do all of your VFR navlog stuff, you're gonna get all the performance data from here pretty much. I mean, unless you're using the POH, which is great, that's preferred. But buy this. This is gonna represent your plane as close as it can be to the POH. Obviously, you should know by now that the POH is made for that specific aircraft and none other than that one specific aircraft. This is like an approximation of, let's say, you know, this Piper Warrior, like this kind of Piper Warrior, but not 2299er Whiskey, which is what I'm flying right now. So 2299er Whiskey has his own book. This one is just about planes like him. But get this, it's very important, these information manuals, and they're not cheap either. So see if you can get one used on eBay, or get yourself a new one. But you know, however, you know, you want to budget your flight stuff, but definitely get this, very important. And your DPE is going to want to know that you know every single thing about your aircraft. Okay, the other thing that I don't have here is the logbooks, the maintenance logbooks for every part of the plane, the engine, everything. You need to get your hands on those logbooks before your check ride. This is so important, you guys. And then put Post-its on every place that you know the DPE is going to ask you about. When was the last time this plane has had an ELT inspection? When was the last time that this plane had its annual? When was the last time that this plane had an altimeter inspection? They're going to want to know all that stuff about the plane. And you cannot be sitting there on the day of the check ride, fumbling around the logbooks looking for it. Let me tell you, that happened to me. That happened to me in my check ride. I had looked at the logbooks the day before, and I was so nervous and sweating. I was like word blind when Jay Lawrence was asking me all those questions. Put Post-its everywhere that you know for sure the DPE is going to ask you questions about. It's so important. Okay, another thing you need to review is avionics videos about the avionics in your plane, assuming that you have avionics. Let's say you're flying with a 430 or a G1000, but anyways, watch videos on that. Why I'm saying watch videos on that is because I'm assuming if you're a private pilot, you just haven't had enough time to get familiar with the avionics and the way the DPE likes. The DPE wants a very good familiarity, understanding of the avionics. She wants to see that you have that familiarity, because unfamiliarity with avionics is a very major cause of accidents and incidents. So and also you should just have that familiarity as a pilot. It feels so much better being familiar with the avionics. I actually got like hooked on avionics videos for a while. It was great. And finally, guys, the Torah right here. It's got to be the year. It has to be. You can't have an outdated one on your check ride. That's going to be a huge problem. And no outdated VFR sectionals and no outdated chart supplements. If you have ForeFlight, they're going to want to see that you downloaded the current charts, okay? No outdated stuff. This is so important. I would absolutely, if I were you, go and buy a tabulated FAR AIM for a private pilot check ride. It will, because this is, it's heavy. There's going to be a ton of stuff in here that you don't need for a private pilot check ride. It's super intimidating, so get a FAR AIM that's tabulated already. I got mine. So I'm going to tell you about the FAR AIM. I didn't really look through it. You know why? Because I, in my naivete, thought that this was all I needed. About a month before my check ride, somebody told me, I forget who, I think it was an airline pilot, I honestly don't remember who, said, what the, are you doing? Are you wasting your time with this freaking book? They said, have you opened this? I'm like, oh no, it's just been sitting there. I had an outdated one. I hadn't looked at it in so long. They were like, listen to me. They almost like took me by the shoulders. Listen to me. Get yourself a new frame. Throw this crap in the garbage and look through it, read it. I am so glad I took that advice, because my DPE is like a major stickler for the regs. They all are, and they should be. And he wanted to know that I had that familiarity with the regs and the AIM. And this was very helpful because it gave me some kind of, place to start. Like mentally, I had already kind of mapped things out, but the language of the FAR AIM is a legal language. The language, especially of the FARs, is a legal language. And they want to hear that you're versed in that language. And if you're not, they can fail you. You think, oh, I know stuff and I fly great. You gotta, as you're finding out, if you're doing proper pilot training, this is more than flying a plane. This is being a lawyer. This is being a doctor. This is being a physicist. I mean, there are so many things that go into it. And the legal part is major. So the DPE wants to hear that you have that kind of familiarity, that intense familiarity that you should have as a professional pilot. They're assessing you that way as a professional pilot. So I hope that you can save maybe some time after having watched this video. And yeah, I know it's rough, but you can do it. You can absolutely do it. It seems like a lot, but just break it down into smaller chunks. It is not too much. You can do it. DPEs are people. They're forgiving. If you genuinely have a good understanding of kind of everything, but there are small holes and gaps here and there, unless you have a DP that's really like cutthroat, they're gonna, through conversation, kind of ask you the prompting questions to just make sure that you will draw the right conclusions and that your logic gears in a certain kind of aviation way that will satisfy them that you can make good decisions. All right, guys, I hope this video helped, and Poppy, who has fallen asleep over here, we will talk to you soon. Okay, bye.